Hi, welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and what an awesome show we have today. It really was a replacement show for Steve. He was supposed to be on the show today, but because he couldn't, we're rescheduling his show, and we have a wonderful guest, Melody Wilding, who is a dear friend's daughter, and it's just the way God works and the way it evolved is remarkable. That's a God story unto itself. But before we begin, I really want to thank Jim in the studio, Jim in the back end of the studio, for all the work he does for us. Can they see you, Jim?
No, no one wants to see that in the morning.
Well, Jim is doing his work on the back end, which really helps us a lot. So thank you, Jim, so much for all you do for us. And of course, Judy. Judy is the co-host of the show. Without Judy, this show could not even begin to evolve. And it is what it is because of Judy. I got to say that. So thank you so much, Judy, for everything.
Thank you, Renee.
You're very welcome. And, I hesitate to share this. But, because of the COVID last year, we really didn't push so much to get financial support from everyone in the world. I just thought that it was, how could we ask for help if there was so many people not eating? And I mean, there was so many, and people were losing their lives. But, because of the COVID, we really are trying to gear up again. And even though I got to tell you, Jim has been wonderful. Jim, Village Connection, is hosting or sponsoring this show for us. And he sponsored the January one and the February one and the March one and the April one. So just to let us get back into gear a little bit. But we could really use your help. So if you have any means, please go to our website and give from the heart. That's what it's called. So even if it's $10 or $50 or $100 or $200, we really could use your help, because without it, we can't continue to spread awareness and bring help to those that their insurance has run out for strokes and aphasia. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your kindness. It really does help. So let's open up the show, Jim, with Melanie, our wonderful guest on the show. Is she on the screen? I got to bring it up online. Okay. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, we are so gifted. And I got to tell you though, before. We didn't go out looking for you. Your mom actually, just a little back history. Her mom, Nora, is on a prayer circle. Sorry, that's a stroke thing when takes me time to remember someone's name. Anyway, we have to do a prayer circle. We've been doing it for it's got to be at least 5 years, that every Friday night we get together at 8:00 and we do a prayer circle. And it I think God must have give her a little wink to share a few weeks ago what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I said, send me her information. I would love to have, because we're all about positivity and Judy loves it, to bring, how do you move on? How do you successfully, accomplish what you want to do? I have a long time ago, I started to write a book, and it's one of the books that's in the process, is get out of your own way, because we need to, and I see that on your writings, Mm-hmm. So anyway, so I said, send me, and all of a sudden Stephen come to the show. So Judy's like, I'll just start it. Don't worry about it. And all of a sudden you're here. So thank you so much for the last minute to just join us.
It all worked out perfectly.
It's a God thing. It's a God thing. I really believe it's a God thing. So, Melanie, tell us a little bit about Jim. Put her book up on the screen, one for really quick. So, this is the book that we're talking about. Let me just look at the information here. Trust yourself. Wow, that's very powerful stuff. Because not only do you need to trust yourself in work area, but you need to trust yourself in life. So it's very, 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 very powerful stuff. So you can take it down, Jim, because I want her beautiful face shown on the screen when she's talking. So, Melanie, tell us a little bit. Tell us your history first, like your bio. Where did you come from? What were you
Yeah.
doing?
Of course, sure. And so, yes, the book is a business career book, but a mask of a business and career book because it's really about life, right? Because you bring yourself everywhere. So, yeah, thank you for highlighting that. But, this book really came about because of my professional experiences. I have a background as a licensed social worker and a therapist, and worked for many years at Rutgers in a human behavior and psychology lab. And so really brought together those kind of clinical experiences. Now for 10 years, I have been coaching. I'm an executive and leadership career coach for, high performers at all of the, very grateful to work with people at all of the top companies like Google and Amazon. So I really get an inside view into what they're struggling with.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so
It's
really
very
bring
interesting.
together.
And how did you? I'm sorry to bother you, but how did you? First of all, I have two questions. How did you get started in that?
Yeah.
And also in your clinical job back at Rutgers, what actually? Like, I don't understand what you actually.
What you do.
What you do.
Yes.
Like, I know that it's a title, but what do you do and what does that do for the world? I mean, those are what's going through my brain.
No, it's a great question because it's a very intangible, kind of mysterious thing. And so, all psychology research labs are different. Mine happen to be about studying human memory, how memory and our experiences form. And so, I did a lot with understanding autobiographical memory. So how people tell stories about themselves and how we make sense of our own personal experiences. My undergraduate thesis was about, believe it or not, horoscopes, but really using horoscopes as a way to understand how can we be influenced by information. So if we get a positive horoscope, we have a great day, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we have a negative horoscope, also becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start noticing all the negative things about your day. So my experiences there were really about studying how emotion and memory interact. I also did some studies about human emotion and sense, how certain scents affect our emotional experiences. Wow. And you do all sorts of cool things. Like one study I was a part of, we gave people samples of body odor to smell and would measure their emotional reaction based on that. Wow. So, a lot of it is about understanding, again, how memory and human emotion work. And so you're right that there's a big disconnect between the lab and the real world, because when you're working in research, you're publishing research papers, you're presenting studies at conferences, but there's not much applicability to people's everyday. Right. Which is exactly why when I was graduating from Rutgers, I decided I wanted to go into social work because I wanted a way to directly practice with people. All my life, I have been curious about people. I'm highly sensitive. I am an empath, which is also what the book is about. And so all my life, I have just been very perceptive, observant, curious about people, how they tick, how they work, why they do the things they do. And so really wanted a way to practice with people and be a therapist. And social work really is one of the quickest routes to do that in terms of your degree and what's required to get licensed. So,
is that job or that career, I should say, because it's more of a career than it is a job.
Yeah.
Does that career help you to understand people more? Because honestly, I have found that social workers and therapists and stuff, they really can't help the person, right? The person has to help themselves, right? So, and your book is a perfect example of that. You're giving people the tools to be able to help themselves. So am I correct in my mind thought?
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And, social work in particular is about, how people interact with their environment. systems of power and things like that. So, social work also, what I think it actually helped me do is, you're right, it's very much about personal empowerment. It's about giving people the tools to help themselves. And so it's very solution focused. It's very action based and short term. And so definitely that experience really prepared me to do what I do now as a coach, which is, I always say to my clients, my goal is to put myself out of a job. I don't want you to need me. I want you to develop the skills for managing your thoughts, your emotions, your stress, yourself, and your career more effectively, so that you are independent. So my goal is to always build that agency in my clients, which definitely that philosophy comes from. It's heavily informed just by my own mindset, but also by, social work training.
Melanie,
Go ahead,
a
Judy.
very interesting side effect to this is, when I was working in a personnel agency prior to becoming a headhunter, one day when we were really busy, my boss decided to give everybody a personality test to see what their real calling was. Mine came out, and I have to say, I was answering the questions in between phone calls and interviews and that kind of thing. And mine came out number 1 in social work.
Huh. Well, that doesn't surprise me. So many of my colleagues, I graduated right at the end of the Great Recession. And so coming by a job was hard enough, let alone in social work that traditionally pays not very good. So many of my colleagues went into recruiting, HR, people roles at organizations, because it's really the same skill set. It's really just understanding people.
Right. I never really
Context.
thought about it. Had I thought about it, I might have gone in that direction.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was thinking, Melanie, is, I love your philosophy to support your clients to work, to stand on their own. But what I love about that is that you form an ongoing bond with them, that we'll always need help. We always need refreshers. Challenges always come into our lives. So to have you as one of those tool belt pockets is really what you're trying to teach them. Am I correct?
Oh, yes. It's such what I do. It's such an honor to be able to enter into people's lives and careers like I do, because, really you're kind of dumped into your career without a playbook, without a partner. Sometimes you can't trust your boss, or family may give you well-meaning advice that's not as helpful. But there are just these day-to-day challenges that people experience, like, how do I deal with a difficult coworker? How do I navigate, my workload keeps increasing. What do I do about that? That people, why I think they enjoy working with me as a coach, is because they have that thought partner to talk about these things that they can't talk about with anyone else, and they know I'm on their side. They know that my only horse in the race is their well-being. They're my number one priority. And you're absolutely right that I have so many clients who either, through the course of coaching, we help them level up in some way. They get more responsibility, a promotion. I have one client who, in the course that we've worked together, his team has more than 10x'd the company, just because his performance keeps increasing. They just keep giving him more and more and more responsibility. And with every new level, there's new challenges, right? There's self-doubt that comes with that. There's a new level of being able to manage and lead other people. There's a new level of being able to influence within the organization and navigate politics. So you're right that as you keep growing, it's a natural evolution. Right. And so, we're never done, right? We're never done growing and forming, and those challenges keep pushing you to become a better version of yourself.
Right. And that's why your book is titled so perfectly, To Trust Yourself, because I know I've grown in trusting myself. But initially, when I, went back into the workforce after my stroke, my brain was combobulated, and I didn't trust in myself, and I didn't want to say anything to anyone, because I didn't want to get fired. I needed the job. I was a single parent. And I knew I needed to have the tools to, Dominic Cortellessa taught me those tools, but to be able to say to say something to somebody, but it's how you say it. It's not necessarily what you're saying. So talk to us about that, because I know that's really important. It's how you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that you're a value to the company. And the truth is, and this is we'll take this on a whole nother tangent, is that if it's not a place that respects you, then you don't need to be there. You got to figure out how to navigate and
that's very true.
Pop out of it. So talk to us about those things.
Yeah. Well, on the second point, just first let me go there. You're absolutely right. That environment is so huge. As I was saying, in social work, we talk a lot about the person in the environment, that you can have a special set, and the people I work with are highly sensitive. So we have a special set, literally different genetics that lead us to be more affected by our environment. So that environment matters a whole lot, because you're picking up more, you're absorbing more of what's around you. And if you're in a really negative place where there's, number one, there's all that negativity around you that you're sponging up, but also you're just constantly invalidated, that erodes that self-trust even more. You don't believe in yourself because everyone around you is tearing you down. And so, yes, the environment really matters. And like you were saying, it takes a huge leap of faith for people to trust that they can find something better, that because they haven't seen it yet, right? They haven't, they can't believe it because they haven't experienced it for themselves. So it really does take a leap of faith to say, I'm going to walk away from this bad situation to find something better.
Melody?
Yeah.
One way to walk away from it is not to go to lunch with coworkers who are very negative.
That's for sure. Yeah. And, I think that's one thing, most people being remote now has helped, that you don't have to, you can draw some of those boundaries much more.
But you have to draw in positive people in your life.
Yes. 100%.
And walk away from the negative ones, because they bring you down.
But sometimes, sorry, Melanie, sometimes, this is the way I look at it, situation presents itself so that you could get a backbone and learn the lessons to talk to your superiors about what it is that you want and you deserve, and work through it, and how do you get there? Because I have great faith. I believe that God sometimes wants to train you for life. And you have to be able to, with Melanie's help, learn, okay, should I say? How should I handle this? And what do I do? And then you go in, and if you lose the job, it's okay, because you held your ground. And I quit 2 jobs without having another job because of that specific situation. It was unhealthy in work environment, and the other one was it was overwhelming. And Kelly knows this very well. Kelly, who just joined us. So you know what? Then I absolutely know that when you turn around, tons of other doors will be open for you. Tons of other doors will be. So Melanie, talk about that a little bit. I'm sorry.
No, it's such a great point. And I definitely, that's my philosophy as well, that it can be a both and. It can be a both. You want to leave this place and you can learn something from it. It doesn't have to be an either or, because sometimes when we just run away from something, you're right, we miss the lesson. I often say, there are some things that are just on our spiritual curriculum that we have to learn. And the universe, God, puts those things in our path because we have to develop those skills, right? And so whenever I work with clients, I always ask, how is this situation for you instead of against you? Because it's really easy to always just feel like the cards are stacked against me. But even when there is something difficult, like let's say you are dealing with a difficult coworker or a boss, you're exactly right. That what is the opportunity there? It's an opportunity to learn assertiveness, to practice using your voice, to get comfortable with discomfort. So there are so many valuable personal growth lessons there. Yeah.
Kelly,
So when
Kelly, did you want to interject? Do you want to interject,
Okay.
or are we just listening to you talk?
Oh, am I on mute?
No.
Okay.
You have
Oh,
pictures.
sorry.
Maybe you have to
That's
put
okay.
video on.
She's on
Got
her
no
phone.
picture. I'm recovering from helping my daughter's car in the rain.
Oh.
Not started. So we're good. But I will say, just to piggyback one thing while I get ready for the next show, but is that I just did the same thing, trusted that I was in a toxic situation, and knew that it wasn't good for my health, and left a job without another job, and just started last week a job with a 20% pay increase, and
wow.
not the ridiculous additional hours because I was a manager that I was going to be required to do at the other job. So I had to, take a breath and go, I trust Kelly, and God will, open the doors and make a way, because I've got to do what's in the best interest of myself, my health, my well-being, and my family.
Of course.
So,
of course.
Yeah.
That
Kelly
brings
and
up, that reminds me that when I was working at U.S. Plywood Champion Papers in the corporate setting, before my recruiting days, I used to do my work too fast. I was very young, and I used to really do it so fast that I gained a second boss, a third boss, a fourth boss,
Oh my gosh.
fifth boss. And then I said, whoa, what's going on here? I didn't get an increase in pay, and I'm working for 5 people. And they said, well, down the road. I went to Human Resources and said, I'm going to leave unless I learned everything about public relations, and then got the opportunity to switch into sales promotion and be taught sales promotion, advertising, and marketing.
Wow.
So they saw that I could do it, but they said one thing: do not tell the new person. You're going to train the new person. Do not tell them there's 5 bosses. I said, you got it.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. So Melody, what I know, or I guess all these gifts and tools, really, how did you come up with wanting to write this book? Like, how did this book create itself?
Yeah. I think 2 things from my professional and clinical experiences and my personal experiences. So it's really the combination of now having coached people for 10 years and really seen certain patterns come up over and over and over again. And, at first I didn't realize that they were there. Certain patterns like I was saying, this sort of high sensitivity, just being more aware and observant, attuned to the world around you, highly empathetic, being very thoughtful, considerate. Then there's all flip sides to those traits, struggling with self-doubt, having a lack of boundaries, overworking because you feel like you want to push yourself and always be giving. So I kept having these clients with these constellation of traits, but certainly it mirrors my own story as well. Yeah, all my life, and my mom can attest to this. I was
a great woman.
She's wonderful. I love her more than anything on this earth. But she knows, growing up, I was super sensitive, super affected by everything around us. If, we watched a sad movie like Bambi, I would cry for days about, Bambi's mom dying. And I was just really, I was a very wise child, kind of.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking you were my perception, because I life coach as well.
Yeah.
Is that God was preparing you, and you were open. Your heart was open to feel what goes on in the world, so that you could have and gather that empathy and create the tools to help people. That really, I mean, what are we here for on earth anyway? If we're not here to help people, if we're not here to love one another, if we're not here to, I believe me, I understand that we also have boundaries, and which is, we were talking about, Jim and I were talking about it before, that how this COVID has really kind of like, okay, reset, reset the entire world, and really had us thinking about what's important, and a little fear, a little fear, and those boundaries that you were talking about, we're home, and to me, it's like, it's an important piece, balance and boundaries and all that. So you could talk to us a little bit about that as well, because I saw you wanted to get in there.
No, with balance and boundaries, you're right. I mean, it's so blurred right now, but you're right that it's been a complete wake up call moment, because I think a lot of people were forcibly thrust out of autopilot and sort of had to confront our own mortality, right? Every day, everyone's kind of been scared for their lives and their family. Yeah. But also just this blend of work and life, and the fact that life is short and very fragile. I've seen so many of my clients have been asking that same question of, am I really spending my time the way I want to? Is my life a reflection of what I value and the way I want to be giving and making an impact on the world? So I think in a very beautiful way, it's had people ask these very important questions that we don't really pause to ask ourselves. But with boundaries, on a more tactical level, people are working more than ever before because they're home. They're kind of filling in all the gaps. Yeah. And I think there's this desire. They're multitasking. Absolutely. You have kids at home. You have to take care of older parents. And you're constantly just reacting to everything that's around you. Everyone is really constantly in a fight or flight, like a stress state. Where they're very heightened, we're very overstimulated, and then we get into the zone where we just want to keep doing more, right? We just want to keep operating at that level. Let me just do more, not confusing out my list. It's a very anxious energy right now. I think a lot of that comes from wanting to feel in control because everything else feels out of control.
Yeah, you got to control something, so let's pick and choose,
Exactly. There's that, and then I think for a lot of people, especially professionals, that not being at the office, I have just seen such a drastic uptick in self-doubt, paranoia. Like, am I doing enough? I can't really get in and contribute on meetings anymore, so I have to.
What is my boss thinking?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, right. What is everybody thinking? They're probably messaging about me in the background and talking bad about me from that meeting, and everyone is just in their own heads. And so boundaries in respect of how we protect our time, creating time blocks during the day to do deep work and not just responding to emails at all time. External boundaries like that, ending work at the end of the day, but also internal boundaries around how much we allow someone's comment to affect us. Our boss says, "Oh, great job." Well, why didn't he say excellent job? Why didn't they put a exclamation point at the end?
And text messages and emails, it's not like having a conversation with somebody, because if you say that to me, and if your boss says that to you, "Oh, great job," you go, "Oh, I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Is it a great job? Is it?" You have more of a chance to express yourself. But in text messages or emails, it's like it's in writing.
It could be short and sweet, and you might not quite feel that what's happening is.
And that's scary stuff, that we work on text messages and we work on emails, So do you coach on how to manage that? How to navigate around that? Is that in your book at all? Or?
Oh, yes. Yeah. There's a whole, several chapters. There's one chapter on managing your emotions. So really your emotional response to situations. There's another on overcoming overthinking. So that kind of rumination and that, runaway thought train that happens. There's a whole chapter on boundaries, specifically how to set boundaries and really use your emotions as data to guide where you need stronger boundaries and how to say no effectively. And then there's a chapter towards the end about assertive communication. So instead of, you were talking before about how to be more assertive in the workplace, we have to believe in what we're saying. It has to start internally first with that conviction and that self-trust to know I have something of value to offer. I believe in myself, or it's a good thing. My well-being is more important. So I need to speak up about this. So it has to come from that internal conviction first, which is why so much of the first half of the book talks about the internal work. And then towards the end of the book, we talk about actual tactics for, okay, how do you deliver that message more assertively? Because, so many times we undermine ourselves. We say, well, I don't know, this is just an idea, but it's probably not a good one. So maybe we shouldn't take it. You know what? Never mind. I'll just.
Melody, I'd like to hear how you would say no in various situations.
Yeah. And, I was just working on a workshop about this for a team because they have said, our whole team has trouble saying no.
Because some people take advantage in an office.
Yes.
And you get a bigger and bigger load. So how would you say no to something that is going to take a lot of your time if you do not have the experience of saying no?
Yeah. And so many of us don't. So, I think it comes down to setting expectations and proactive communication. So I think a big mistake is that people don't have those conversations up front about what is my top priority right now, and negotiating that with their boss that, okay, this is my top priority. This is how much of my time I'm spending on this. So those conversations need to be.
And I just want to insert that when you're working for one boss and they're all in a rush to have the work done.
Yeah. It's
a good idea to say, okay, this is what I've got on my plate. I want to know in what order you want me to do this.
Exactly.
Right, but Judy, this is a positive. This is a wonderful thing. You have that thought patterns of asking those questions, But
it's important for people to.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's a great comment, because people need to know. They have not only should they ask those questions, but they have a right to ask those questions, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Because what's going to happen is you've got all these different things, all these expectations from several bosses that you're working for, and each one is saying it's really important, and it's a big stress factor. So you have to say, hold on here. This is what I've got from this person, what is of the most importance, or go to the head boss and say, look, this is what's happening. In what order do you want me to do this?
Right. Yes. And that's a tool. That's so important in life, because Judy, you're so good at what you do. You're so good at what you do. And that's why you're an achiever. But in life, there's so many people that don't trust in themselves.
But you learn that from on-job experience.
Yeah.
And I was forced to learn that because the faster I worked, the more bosses they added. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I even had to do work for the chairman of the board, which would have been 6 bosses.
Yeah, and that's why I left, and Kelly would attest to this, that's why I left one of the positions, because I had 8 communities at one point. Wow. That I
remember that.
And I said to myself, I love my clients. I want to respect them. And can't treat each one equally. There's not enough time in the day.
Right. And then you're under pressure and you won't do it as well.
And to me, it's like, and then my other position that I left, I don't want to mention any names or anything, but another one was, I was just running amok from 6 a.m. till like 7 or 8 at night, and literally not doing my job. Because the operation was so dysfunctional. Mm-hmm.
You had to straighten them.
People were quitting, and I had to fill in. So I was literally doing caterings and not doing the job I was hired for.
Right.
And eventually I went to somebody and I just said, I just can't do this anymore. And they said to me, like, I want you to take a step back and I want you to realize something. You've had a stroke. You had a stroke in your life. And
What does that have to do with it?
Well, because the pressures could invoke another stroke on me. Because of the way, I mean, I was so tired and I couldn't even get up. It was so, but once again, on both aspects, I didn't have another job to go to. But I walked in there and said, this is unhealthy. They said to me to walk in and say, this is an unhealthy work environment.
Definitely.
I'm leaving immediately. And I did. And I walked out. And although it was, where am I going? What am I doing? I had such great faith and I felt such relief that, okay, what's next?
You're a multi-talented woman, Renee.
Thank you, Judy.
There's so many things you achieve.
You know what? I think like Melanie, I just want to help people. And if I could help them in the lessons that I've learned in my life, then that's one of the things. That's why I'm writing. I mean, I saw it on I just, you know what? A long time ago, I wrote, get out of your own way. And I looked on your website here and you have something about how do you what does it say on your website?
Yeah, get out of your own way. And just pretty much that. Because
God. Years ago I wrote it, so that cracks me up. So I'm also writing a book, Awaken Your Practice, which is, you have to awaken. You have to awaken to that, right, Melanie? Let's talk about that. You have to awaken to the fact that it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. So let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it takes tremendous strength, right? Because I think so many of us get stuck on autopilot, like I was saying before, just kind of day in, day out, just keeping your head down on what's in front of you, not really, or rather, pushing aside that intuition in that sense that something's wrong, because we've all gotten messages of, work harder. You don't have it so bad. Just pick yourself up by your bootstraps. You can take on more. Right. And we get into rationalizations about it and almost undermine ourselves, undermine that sense, that small voice inside that is saying, this is not right for you. There's something better. And really making it so that that's the louder voice and that's the voice you trust is really what the book is about, is really what all of my work is about. But you're right. You have to, like you were saying, I love that word awaken, because that voice is many times dormant or very quiet and silent inside of us. And it's a skill, it's a muscle that it takes to pay attention to it, to make space for it. Because again, so we're just rushing from thing to thing. We're kind of zoning out on social media. We're not sitting with ourselves, because that's very uncomfortable.
And a very important point is, and we've all heard it, when one door closes, another door opens. So that means when you are not in a happy situation and you decide to leave, you're going to get a better opportunity. And you have to have faith in yourself. You have to trust yourself.
Yeah. And it's hard because that takes, like I was saying before, it takes a leap of faith. It takes courage to make that.
Because you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your travel expenses to work, and all these other things, but you have to trust yourself.
But you know what?
Doing the right thing.
I want to talk to you about something, Melanie, because in both jobs that I left, it was my own fault that I didn't have another position, because I should have strategized and made a plan, right? Talk about that, because it was my own fault. It was my own fault. I mean,
I have time to make another plan.
Yeah, but you know what? I should have prepared and did something and balanced myself. Instead, I'm going to work in those 8 or 10 hours a day, because now I have to shift. And if I wasn't getting the work done and they were complaining to me, I would say, well, I told you this, I told you that, I shared with you this, and I shared with you that, and you weren't listening to me. Now I'm taking balance in my life, not saying that I was leaving. I mean, I am the most honest person in the entire world. I cannot I can't, it's not in me. It's not in me to play games and to not be truthful to somebody. But on the other side, the flip side, I don't need to be I'm talking about people, but I only know myself. They don't need to know everything that's happening in my life. I just threw a lot of stuff at you, Melanie. So
No. And this is exactly, I have so many clients going through this right now because as more sensitive people, they're incredibly loyal and caring and dedicated to what they do. So there's a lot of people pleasing and fear of disappointing others. Like I'm going to let people down. They're not going to like me anymore. That makes me a bad person. Right? Instead of realizing that actually you're depriving other people that you could be helping or contributing greater in another job, you're depriving them of that opportunity, as well as depriving someone who could be better in your role or who would be more suited for you're taking up that spot from that person. And usually that's kind of a mindset shift that helps people get over and be able like, okay, it's time for me to move on. But you're absolutely right that you want to be consistently, cultivating your seeds, other opportunities, because I talk about it like you need to diversify where you're getting your self-esteem and your confidence from. If you're so over-invested in your work, it's a very dangerous place to be, because if one thing goes wrong at work, a job could let you go. And the company's not going to care, right? They're not a human.
That's true.
They don't really care. And so you have to be taking charge and taking control of your own path to, while you are working, making sure you have other interests, a prayer group, volunteering, all of those other things where you get a source of joy. But also planting seeds in your career, making sure that you're building connections, that you have a strong network, I always advise for my clients that they're interviewing every 1 to 2 years just to keep their skill set fresh. Cause it's like a muscle.
And they should be networking with other people and groups.
Yep. But see, to me, this is my own strangeness, I guess. I would not like to interview every 1 or 2 years, only because if my boss finds out that I'm interviewing, then he's going to think I'm not happy in my job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to move
on.
on.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous. And I want to just add something there. If you, let's say, get recruited by somebody and you go on the interview and you have in your mind that you're going to use this opportunity to get more money on your job, you're going to lose the new job and the one you have.
Yes.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah. Speak to that, Melanie. Talk to us.
Yeah, your boss doesn't need to know you're interviewing. None of my clients will tell their manager that they're interviewing.
They could find out, and you never go in and ask for a counter offer. Never.
Fair. They could find out, but at the same time, many of my clients, and what I advise them is not to necessarily be interviewing because they want to leave, but so that they're keeping their skill set sharp, so that they're seeing what else is out there and testing the market. And any reasonable manager is going to respect that, because they would be doing the same.
Right.
And so if your manager reacts negatively towards that, it might not be the place you want to be anyway. But most of my clients never have an issue with that, unless it's an incredibly, incredibly small niche kind of profession where everyone is really connected.
And the truth is that I would like I had this small example in a job. I don't want to mention names and stuff like that, but we found out that someone was leaving, and I really liked working with him. He was doing a good job, so I brought him into the office and I talked to him about it. Like, why are you leaving, or why are you interviewing, or because we really value you. We really want so I would hope that if a boss does find out, that they don't all of a sudden go to that, oh my God zone that they hold a conversation with you.
Yeah.
You know, so the truth, and you find out. Dominic Cortellessa, once again, is, you know, one of the people I worked with for 10 years, and he had the same mindset. He would sit down with you, he'd find out, you know, he'd talk to you. So you had an open conversation with him about what was going on in your.
But not everybody is like Dom.
No, I know that.
And if you go to your boss and he finds out or she finds out that you have been interviewing, okay, they may keep you on, but they're going to start looking. I've spent a lot of years in this area. They start looking for someone who can do the job that you're doing for less money. And when they line that person up, they fire you without any notice.
Yeah, that's so. But like Melanie said, then it wasn't the position. That's where our faith comes in, and we got to say, you know what? Then it was going to happen sooner or later, because I don't want to be with a company that doesn't value me enough to talk to me about it and to ask me, like I was just saying. So, right, Melanie, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's I agree with that. But you're right, Judy. There are very real risks with it, and if you're not willing to face,
Explore it, right?
yeah, if you're not willing to kind of take on that risk, then right, it's not the thing to do at the moment. But you can be building your network in other ways, like you were saying. You know, I have lots of clients.
You can belong to a lot of clubs. You can belong to
clubs,
the Chamber of Commerce in your area. And they have a lot of large networking.
Yes.
And people exchange cards.
Yep.
They have speeches that people give. And you get a reputation. People know you. Mm-hmm. And it opens a lot of doors.
Yep. That, you know, there's professional groups for everything under the sun now. You know, a couple weeks ago, I spoke to women in toy merchandising. So there's very like specific groups for anything that you do.
Yes.
You know, LinkedIn is wonderful now.
Yes.
Just to reach out to old colleagues and reconnect. And, you know, I don't think we think about keeping those. And Judy, you might know this, but there's so much research that shows that our new opportunities, business, you know, professional job opportunities come through our weaker ties. So many times not necessarily like a family member, you know, your brother-in-law refers you.
That's
right.
right.
They come through someone you met at a conference once or someone you went to college with. They come through weaker connections.
When I was when I had a project donating equipment, medical and dental equipment overseas, I was at a big conference, a district conference, and I met someone who had a warehouse and was storing some of these things I wanted to send. And he helped me pay the expenses overseas, which is going to be a big obstacle.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. See, like you never know. And there's just, you know, putting yourself in situations where serendipity can happen, those connections. And
right. Because I was thinking, now, how am I going to get this? How am I going to get 3 oral Dexter chairs to the Ukraine?
Oh my gosh.
You know, they're donated, but how am I going to get them there? It could cost more than the chairs are worth. And I know people who have had trouble with projects like this. Mm-hmm. And I kept networking, and I met the person who had a warehouse in Upper Westchester and was able to help me with it.
Wow. Yeah.
And
look at that.
That's amazing. It's amazing. So, Melanie, we only have 5 minutes left, believe it or not. We've been on talking for an hour. But I just want to give you some moment to really focus in and put your you know, your plug about the book and why you think it's a value key. I mean, I couldn't wait to buy it. I went on, and it's actually not due out till, it's not scheduled to come out till May 2nd. Am I correct?
May 4th. So
May 4th.
Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. I hope it's good luck.
Hold on. I want you to do it fully so that we could press it.
Thank you.
But I do want to invite you back, because I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to like navigate through it, trusting yourself, because although everybody would think I'm fully trusting in I fully trust in myself, it took a long time. I'm 50.
To get there.
It took 58 years for me to trust in myself and get those tools to use. And the truth is that when I get in that untrusting area, my thing is I go to my faith, you know, and the prayer circle that we began this show with, your mom, Nora, and it really is important to me. So people need to find their niche in how to navigate through trusting yourself, because you're not going to always trust in yourself. There's going to be a little bit of doubt once in a while. So I mean, first of all, I can't wait to read your book. I can't wait to listen to it because I buy it on audio. But let me give you the platform to talk about your book, to really share with us why, why you think it's important for people to read.
Thank you so much. So the book, the full title is Trust Yourself, Stop Overthinking, and Channel Your Emotions for Success at Work. And it's really a roadmap, very actionable, concrete roadmap for regaining your confidence and turning your sensitivity into a superpower. Since, as I was saying, when you are someone who thinks and feels everything more deeply, it's a tremendous asset in your personal and professional life, but it comes with things that get in your way: perfectionism, self-doubt, stress. And so the book is really gives you the mindset and the tools to navigate your career as an empathetic, driven person and really reach your full potential. So it's all about achieving your self-confidence, helping you speak up and act more assertively, building resilience and being able to bounce back from setbacks, and most importantly, being able to enjoy your success and everything you achieve without so much stress.
And you have some very good points. There are 4 very good points. Do I have time to mention them?
Yes, of course.
The book will help you regain your confidence and overcome imposter syndrome. Speak up and act assertively. Build resistance and bounce back from setbacks. And as you just said, enjoy your success without sacrificing your well-being. I thought that was a very important point.
Yeah, thank you so much. And
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the book comes out, like you were saying, May 4th in just a couple of weeks. So it is out for pre-order, all formats: audiobook, hardcover, digital book, whichever one you read. And, in advance, we're giving away during the pre-order period some really great bonuses to thank people for pre-ordering. So if you pre-order one book, you get a full digital workbook that really will take you through the book, give you a way to journal and take down your insights and turn them into knowledge you can apply. And it has all of the exercises and worksheets from inside the book. And if you buy 3 or more books, so one for yourself and 2 friends, I am doing a month-long coaching immersion, really taking people through the book in real time, and with a group of other, sensitive high achievers as well. So just some other perks.
If I buy 3 books.
3, yes.
I'm gonna buy. I went online and I pre-ordered the Amazon audio.
Yes.
But I would like to talk to you about that. I would like to buy 3 books.
Oh, that means a lot. I will send you the link because there are discounts if you buy more. If you buy more than 1 book. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even worried about the audio one. The audio one I still want, because that's when I drive and I keep myself in that positive mode.
It's a very important way to learn.
Yeah, but I do want to buy some books for gifts. Because I really think it's so important for people to read, to understand. So it's a wonderful, wonderful book, and God did wonderful things for us. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'd love to invite you back. So we'll
we're very proud of you, Melody.
Oh, thank you it means a lot.
And I will call you and we'll book another date.
Yeah, after we all read the book, and then maybe Kelly will be on, and we'll be able to conversate about the important.
Definitely.
Kelly and I lived this already. So, and it's funny that she's on the show already because, Kelly and I went through this with the work. So together. So it is a gift. And the truth is that I don't want anybody to look back on my history and find out what position I'm talking about. But it really, I believe, we'll end this show. Sometimes it's not about the position. It's really about you and your internal growth. And you have to experience those particular situations so that you could grow, Because I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't experience even my major stroke. If I didn't experience all that to this point, I wouldn't be sitting here with all of you today. So
thank God.
Right.
Yes. So thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you, Judy, as always. And actually, we have a wonderful show coming up next, a prayer show. And it's a prayer show because Passover just passed and Easter just passed and the spring is coming. And my father, I think is 9-year anniversary. I think he passed on 2012. So it's 9-year anniversary of passing on my stroke day, which happened to be Easter. So to me, that was a pinpoint moment in my life for me to, at this time of the year, to pray and to look at the world, to replenish myself. There's so many things that we need to do. And it's so, I love the way God works, Melanie, because, Judy brought you on today, as an intro into our prayer show.
Yes, it blended very well, didn't it?
It worked out perfect.
It blended very well. So thank you so much to everybody. We'll see you in a few minutes at 10:15. And Melanie, we always blow our kisses. So on 3, we blow kisses. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody. See you in a few.
Bye. God bless you all.
Yo no entiendo por qué tú ni más de nadie sabe qué pasó en mi vida. Yo no sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que haré, yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo. ¿Qué va a pasar? No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. El día que caminaste por la puerta, todas las memorias fueron. Mi corazón está vacío. Como si tú así. No me puedes oír, no me puedes escuchar. No me puedes escuchar. Llorar, llorar. No me puedes escuchar.